Nina Sobel has been intrigued by the idea of being able to capture the emittance of electrical impulses by the brain and transposing them into a graphic image since 1973. She began to collaborate with systems engineer Michael Trivich. On the monitor, two people were able to see their physical as well as mental image. They were able to create one composite brainwave drawing in real time. Sobel was determined to devise a non-competitive, creative environment geared to home TV viewers who could create an active rather than passive TV viewing experience and enhance their ability to communicate. Dr. Barry Sturman of the Sepulveda Veterans Administration Hospital in California offered access to equipment. As the director of the neuropsychology lab, he was most interested in the psychosociological aspects of the piece. Electrodes were attached to the occipital region of the brain, the visual cortex of two participants. They sat comfortably in front of a monitor which displayed their faces and the superimposed composite brainwave information. The real-time Lissajous pattern changed in accordance with the brainwave activity. When both people put out the same brainwave, it formed an irregular circular configuration. Nonverbal communication between the participants was the objective. When one person was distracted, it appeared as distortion horizontally or vertically, depending upon the axis, which displayed his or her brainwave pattern. The results were averaged through a PDP-10 computer and proved that two people could influence each other's mind states nonverbally. The EEG video telemetry environment was installed at the Contemporary Arts Museum in Houston, Texas. It was open to public participation. Electrodes were attached to participants in the same manner as in the Sepulveda installation, and an electroencephalogram was given to them. The public could view closed-circuit monitors of the people in the living room environment, and the graph being made, a video projector also played back what others had previously created. Soon after getting a job at the computer store, Sobel began to collaborate with biocybernetics engineer Chris Matthews in using computer graphics to enhance brainwave drawing. With the support of Dick Heiser, experiments were made using his equipment and an EEG device from the Biofeedback Research Institute. During the following year, Matthews and Sobel developed computer graphics programs for the piece. By 1981, after experimenting with different patterns, their efforts were recorded in Matthews' laboratory. John Gord built a special effects generator, and other equipment was donated. It was discovered that when one participant made a transition from one brainwave state to another, it often influenced a similar transition in the other person, non-verbally. During the past phases, more emphasis was placed on the graphics. Now, attention was focused to achieve accuracy with the analog-to-digital device, the link between sophisticated EEG equipment and the Apple computer. After extensive testing, an environment was opened to the public at the Long Beach Museum of Art in the Artist and the Computer show. A computer program was created by Kong Lu, which resembled an electroencephalogram. Colors were keyed to each different mind state. The computer displayed an image showing previous brainwave activity, as well as the immediate responses. This allowed the participants to view their deeper previous states, as well as the current patterns which were altered by the activity of looking at the screen.
Information from the brain and hopefully detect form, color, that sort of thing. And another computer that would generate, say, three-dimensional images, depending on what happens in the brain.
I see.
So for that system, we'll need something like 16 channels of information per person to cover that whole visual cortex.
Can you
analyze the information from the brain and hopefully detect form, color, that sort of thing. And another computer that would generate, say, three-dimensional images, depending on what happens in the brain.
I see.
So for that system, we'll need something like 16 channels of information per person to cover that whole visual cortex.
And you would then colorize that, each individual channel?
Something like that. There are a number of techniques for mapping brain information onto an artistic medium. One would be frequency into color, frequency into distance. substance or size of an image, differential or small differences in brain activity mapping onto, say, the size or shape of some pre-programmed form, like a star shape or some adjusting the parameters on.
The show featured artists who work intimately with technology. Sobel installed the interactive brainwave drawing installation. Sobel's collaborator, Masahiro Kahata, designed the brainwave sensors and computer program called IBVA, or Interactive Brainwave Visual Analyzer. Kahata's design enabled subjects to strap electrodes to their foreheads. Their brainwave activity was fed through a Macintosh computer and displayed as a colored chart moving across the TV screen in real time. Sobel constructed a living room environment in which a couch sat opposite the TV set. A video camera stationed above the set was trained on the subjects' faces. Thus, an interactive loop was formed, whereby subjects saw their own faces on the TV screen, superimposed by the graphic representation of their brainwave activity. In a box at the top of the screen appeared graphics designed by Sobel. When subjects fell into the same brainwave state, a pair of figures appeared in the box. As they remained in the same brainwave state, the figures were gradually drawn together. Each brainwave was assigned a specific color. We're drawn together by our brains. Watch us together, walk together. Look at us. We're on TV. There we are. We're on TV. We surrender to technology because we need its help. It helps us to feel connected. We command the equipment, and we are not at its mercy.
Figures in the center. As these two.
We have no color. We have no religion. We are information spots on the database. This furniture helps us to be together. We're interactive. We communicate. We're drawn together by electricity and magnetism. This hyper-high-tech theater is a rehearsal for our future. We can attain mental intimacy without the equipment. The interactive brainwave drawing installation is an invitation. It provides the stage and the props which revalidate the activity of communication without words.